TF2 fans have to be the biggest dumbasses I've ever seen in any internet community to have ever existed. They're so stupid that Valve will do something like release the SDK, which is pretty much Valve saying, go fuck yourself, have the mod makers do all the work for us because we don't actually want to work on the game anymore. Like, they'll take this information, this new release of the SDK, and they'll act like Valve just decided to up and fix the game. The game's completely fixed. It's good again, when Valve didn't do anything. They didn't do shit. They just released the SDK and told everyone else to do the work for them. And then, instead of being outraged at the fact that Valve doesn't want to work on the game, they'll say shit like, "Oh my god, Valve, they're such a good company. They care for us. Please let me lick the ground you walk on." Like, no! This isn't even the bare minimum. This is throwing it out to somebody else. And the bot fixing? That was one contractor who did it because he wanted to play the game but couldn't. He asked Valve, and Valve was like, yeah, no, fuck it, whatever, who cares? Valve isn't this messiah because they made good games 20 fucking years ago, before I was even born. They are a multi-billion-dollar company, same as EA, same as Activision. They are the same as every other company. They might have done cool things in the past, like 10, 20 years ago. But now, they are like every other company. They don't give a fuck about you. They'll do whatever it takes just to get more money, because that's all they care about. Money, money, money. They don't care about TF2. They haven't cared about TF2 for a long time. And to further show how little Valve actually cared, the Meet Your Match update did not exist to help the community, to make the game better. It only existed because Valve wanted Team Fortress 2 to become a competitive game like CSGO, like Dota, and then like Overwatch when that started coming out. But they knew that Team Fortress 2 was not a competitive game. They knew it was a casual game, and like 3% of the player base were actually competitive. But they catered to these people and made a shit update that only served to hurt the community, hurt the game. In casual mode, that is its own slew of dog shit to talk about. But I will say that that is the sole reason the bot crisis exists. Because of how bad casuals matchmaking is, people tend to get in matches where they're either stomping or being stomped. So they leave to go find a new match. And this happens again and again and again. So what ends up happening is people keep fluctuating, joining, leaving, and this provides the perfect ground for bots to join and ruin everything, because you have the party system, which allows the bots to join together in groups of 6. They get to join the servers where people are fluctuating, joining and leaving, so when someone leaves, they'll fill the slot. And another one, and then another one, and then the server becomes infested with bots. So someone gets tired of it and leaves, a new bot takes their place. They try to look for a new game, same thing happened in that server. It's full of bots. They look for a new one, same thing happened there. It's full of bots. The bot crisis happened because of Valve's neglect towards the actual TF2 players. They hyper-focused on competitive because they wanted it to be competitive. And what happened was, they released a terrible update, which opened the door for bots to come invade the game. And you can't even play community servers anymore because, well, there aren't any that have actual players. Speaking from experience, I'll go on to try and play a community server in recent time, try to see if I can find anything fun. No, I don't. I don't find anything. I don't find anyone. I'll find a Hightower server with like 10 people on it. 12, if I'm lucky. If I'm really, really lucky, I'll find a server that's actually populated. I think the only one that I know of that is actually populated is like, Samwiz server. I hop in there every once in a while, get bored, and I'll leave to find another server, but there are no other servers because no one's playing them at all. But back to what I was actually saying at the beginning of this rant. Valve is just as shitty as every other company. They do not care. They are not your friends. They won't do what you ask. Hell, it took a contractor to fix the bot issue. It wasn't Valve. It wasn't Valve employees. It was a contractor. And even then, these fucking stupid troglodytes who constantly lick Valve's shoes, they'll turn around and they'll make jokes about how the janitor's working on the game, or how there are a bunch of plants. They're the game devs. They're the dev team. So they acknowledge that no one's working on the game. No one's going to work on the game. And Valve doesn't care. but yet they'll still suck off Valve as hard as they can. They will meat right it as hard as humanly possible the minute Valve does anything that's mediocre. Not good, mediocre. Because kicking the bots was bare minimum. They didn't fix the game. They didn't try and revert what they did, which was take a game that is meant to be casual fun and nothing else, and then try to turn it into a competitive mess, which did not work. I can say from experience that once the bot crisis took over Team Fortress 2, I stopped playing for a long time because the casual mode had put me in this mindset where all that matters is winning. And that is a core issue with casual mode. But now that I'm playing Team Fortress 2 again, I can actually start to have some fun doing stuff that isn't the objective. That is how the game is supposed to be played, but casual doesn't promote that. It promotes this idea that you need to win. Win, move on to the next server. Who cares about who was there before? You'll go on to the next one. Doesn't matter. You won't build communities. You won't find friends. You'll find people that you talk to once. You'll friend them, and then you'll never speak to them ever again. Casual servers are actively harming any sense of community that could be built. Because all you're doing, you play a game with a group of people, you never see them again. And I'm glad that people are starting to talk about the toxic positivity issue, because it's a real thing. These idiots will lash at you. They'll try and gnaw at you because you're speaking the truth. You're saying that Valve isn't this, I don't know, messiah that can do nothing wrong. You're saying that Valve is not perfect. They make a lot of fuck-ups, and it's okay to criticize them for it. But they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that their game isn't perfect. They want to hear that Valve can do nothing wrong and that TF2 is a perfect game. It's completely fine. And then on top of that, they'll act like Valve is perfect when... No, it's not. They haven't made a good game in like 20 years. 10 years, maybe. What was their latest release? Deadlock? That shit sucked. They haven't released a good game in a long time. I can't think of a single Valve game to come out in recent time besides Deadlock. Left 4 Dead came out a decade plus ago. Counter-Strike? Same thing. Team Fortress 2? 2007. Portal? Dude, there hasn't been the latest one since Portal 2. It's a good game, but that came out over a decade ago. Valve does not make games anymore. They're not a messiah that can't do no wrong. Yeah, pivoting off of Valve and to the meat writers, they are retarded. I'm not afraid to say it. They are stupid. They are downright stupid. Because Valve will do all the work that they can on Counter-Strike. They didn't give a fuck about TF2. And it's been like that for a long, long time. But now, Team Fortress 2 fans, they have like this Stockholm Syndrome, where they've been treated like shit for so long that they think that Valve actually cares about them. Valve will do like something that's mildly good, not even, and then everyone will just start praising them. They're like, yes, Valve, you're such a good company. You care about us so much. No, you don't. They never cared. They haven't cared about Team Fortress 2 in a long time. They're doing the bare minimum to keep the economy afloat. Because if people playing TF2 realize that their hats are actually worth nothing, that they spent hundreds of dollars on, maybe even thousands, what'll happen to the CSGO community? They'll realize, oh shit, our weapon skins are worth nothing. It can be taken away from us on a dime. Just like that, boom, gone. Which would tank their economy. And that means no money for Valve, which they really hate, because they're a company. They want money. Like every other company, they want money. Nothing more but money. I think there's really not much else I can say, but besides, Valve is a shitty company like the rest who only want money. They do not have your best interest in mind. They can do wrong. They actively do wrong. And them doing the bare minimum of fixing the bots and somehow dipping even lower and saying, go play mods instead of our game because we'll make them legal so you can just go play them instead. That is an insult. And the fact that people don't see it as an insult just shows how completely delusional they are. That's about all I wanted to rant about. But this might be a rant. But what I'm saying is the truth. And anyone who tries to go into the comments and say, no, you're just like ungrateful. You're ungrateful. You're entitled. You are the exact person I'm talking about. You have a dent in your brain and you are beyond retarded.